Wow, that is such an awesome catch. Man, hey, walk up here. Get in this. We got to see you. Nice going. Is that your biggest fish ever? This is video, man. Say something. You're going to Disneyland. Wow.
Nice catch, dude.
I'm going to shoot one photo here real quick, you guys. That is so cool. What an extraordinary catch today on board the Island Spirit with Friedman Adventures. Congratulations, Antonio. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, the day after, of course, the 4th of July. And our friend is down here. Good morning, my friend. He's getting ready to put a bait out. Let's check out the bucket. Oh, my goodness. Looks like really good yellowfin croaker fishing again here today as the tide rolls up on us, and it should be a magnificent day for our surf fishing event tomorrow. All right, so let me just give you the details on that. First of all, 10% off everything at Big Fish Bait and Tackle today and tomorrow. Everything. If it's discounted, if it's a rod, it's a reel, a jig, everything on sale. You see that tower down there, right there? All right, that's located at Anderson Street and Pacific Coast Highway. You're going to park right around there. You can park across the street also, and then you're going to walk down here to Surfside, California, and you're going to find us between that tower down there and that playground right up there. All right, so you can find us somewhere between there. Guaranteed you'll be able to do that. And we'll be fishing from 10 until 1, 10 a.m. until 1. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, I'm setting up for the MB, as you well know. And man, did we have an outstanding day out of Ventura sport fishing yesterday on board the Island Spirit. It was spectacular. Great fishing going on. We'll check in on the bluefin tuna bite. Some exceptional fishing going on south of the border also right now as these guys are trying to get a bite. Did the sand bass and barracuda bite continue here for LA Orange County based anglers? We'll find out a little bit more about that. And of course, we'll be checking in on that great trip we put together at the last minute where so many of you showed up for the Island Spirit. That was fantastic. A little bit later tonight, we'll drop a video on that trip. Big halibut, great barracuda fishing, loads of fun. All right, my friends, we are getting ready for the MB, as you well know. Let's get into it with you all. Hey, good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, where we will have our surf fishing event tomorrow. You're all welcome. We're going to have breakfast burritos down here. You want to make a donation to our Mexico efforts, we would deeply appreciate that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, the surf fishing bite's been good, as you can see by the gentlemen behind me who have been whaling on them this morning. We'll see if they can catch any fish here on the morning briefing. I'm going to put the over-under line at 3. Will he catch more than 3 fish or less than 3 fish during the morning briefing? Well, we've got so much to talk to you about. Great yellowtail fishing south of the border. We're going to get you caught up on that. The bluefin tuna bite is it continuing red hot. Of course, we're watching the sand bass and also barracuda here in the LA Orange County area. The Victory had limits on the sand bass and 40 barracuda the other day. That was a great signal and sign of life. We'll look at all the islands, including some still very good yellowtail fishing over there at San Clemente Island. Catalina Island, Calico Bass has been great in the Channel Islands yesterday. Wow, what a great group of people that came out on that trip. It was so nice spending time with each and every one of you on the 4th of July. I'll drop a little bit of that video here on the morning briefing and then have the entire show for you later this evening. And it should be great because we had such great action, including Antonio, first-time angler, that young man with an exceptional catch of a big halibut. You have got to love it. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, I hope you had a fantastic 4th of July. I certainly did, spending my time out on the beautiful Eastern Pacific. It was flat, calm, gorgeous, and the fish were nibbling yesterday on board the Island Spirit. So nice spending time with each and every one of you. If you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you're able to do that. You can share these videos with a friend and also subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell, that tiny itsy little bell, tick it, and you'll be notified when there's new content. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. All right, we got to get into it, and I hope I see you all here tomorrow on the beach. I would purchase some worms at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, 10% off. We can get some sand crabs here. So if you don't want to do that, we can probably. I mean, yesterday it was full speed on the sand crabs. I'll bring the sand crab catcher down and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can get some kids to start mining sand crabs for us so we all have plenty of bait there. A little chrome jig, not a bad idea here in the surf, like a chrome crocodile, 3/4 ounce, works really, really good. 10% off today and tomorrow at Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. All right, let's start south of the border. We'll go down about 140 miles. What's there? Well, of course, San Quintin. San Quintin's such a lovely place to fish. And their yellowtail bite down there right now is full speed, wide open. Jaime's Pongas yesterday, full, easy limits on the nice yellowtail. Really excellent fishing going on down there in San Quintin right now as the yellows are biting the surface iron, the yo-yo iron, and they're biting dropper loop. If you want to drop a bait down there, you're fortunate enough to snag some mackerel. Man, it has been outstanding fishing down there on that fish. And of course, if you look around a little bit, you can find some calico bass and so much more. Excellent fishing, San Quintin yellowtail right now. We bump you up there to Ensenada. Now that's only 70 miles down below the border. But in Ensenada, we have a variety of fish. That bluefin tuna, very finicky, very difficult right now to catch those things. Every once in a while, somebody will score a fish or two, but it's been really tough here recently on the BFT. A lot of that small grade fish run around 18 to 25 pounds. Every once in a while you get one up over 100, and the bluefin that they catch are mostly on a trolled Mad Mac kind of lure. That probably has been the best way to make things happen. Now, just because those bluefin are not biting doesn't mean you have an opportunity at some really nice game fish. Those yellowtail are up under birds just outside of the harbor in Ensenada, about a 15-minute run, and you are on some really excellent fish right there. Now, they're up and they're down. Some days they show, some days they don't. They are susceptible to boat pressure, so weekends are more difficult to try to get a bite on that yellowtail. But if you're Johnny on the spot and you work really, really hard, you've got a good chance of scoring some of that nice fish. You're going to be doing something that we call run and gun fishing. Run and gun fishing is when you see fish off on the horizon, you run as fast as you can to get to that fish. And then, of course, you've got to be able to fire an iron, or as they say in Mexico, a fierro. You got to be able to throw that on those boiling yellowtail. And you take a couple winds on the 40-pound, don't fish anything less than 40, and you have got a chance at some nice yellows down there. There's occasional Barracuda flurry, some of that big bonita, and then the fallback, of course, is rockfish. It's also, though, sand bass and calico bass. It's really good fishing in some of the coastal areas. It has been on fire in some of those areas. So there's plenty to do in Ensenada. They have lovely weather right now. Not much wind at all. Nice fishing south of the border. Lovely drive to both those venues, whether it's San Quintin or it's Ensenada. You can really make things happen. Happy 4th of July, Lupe, and it's good to see you. All right, so there goes Lupita with a friend of hers, and man, I'll tell you, really great to see so many lovely people here on a little bit foggy day, but conditions are nice. You can see it's not rough at all, and I don't see the seaweed that we've been dealing with down here, so it bodes well for our surf fishing day tomorrow. All right, unfiled taxes, what is wrong with you? When we have Tim Marquez from A Best Income Tax ready to help you, a Friedman Adventures family member, you can give Tim a call today and he'll unravel all of that for you and get you straight, get you so you can get a good night's sleep at night. And also, if you are having heating and or air conditioning issues, man, if you're having air conditioning issues in some areas, it's way too hot. Some places up over 100 degrees right now. Call John Lopez out of fishing, hitting, and air conditioning. Nobody better than John. He's a great guy. He'll take care of all of that for you. Let's go to San Diego and let's talk the overnight boats, the day and a half boats, the long range guys that are fishing up there. They're fishing 3-day trips like that. Been a little bit more difficult here, I would say, the past 24 hours for sure. There's been some night bites on that big fish, but it has been more hit and miss the last couple of nights, no question about that. So if you get on the right bunch of fish, you've got a very good chance. Buenos dias, hermano, to pull some nice big fish out of there. As our friend Kevin Kwan from Young's Fishing Tackle did a couple of nights ago. Kevin, man, you're the best. It's always good to see you catching a nice fish like that. But it's been more difficult, no question about it. Our friend JC also had a nice fish on board the Independence. Both those guys on the Independence. Way to go, JC. What can I tell you? It's been a while since I've talked to you, and I hope you are doing well. So you do have that shot. And those fish are 100 to over 200 pounds in some cases. So needless to say, you want to be fishing 100-pound spectra on those trips, and you definitely want to be fishing 200-pound bite leader. That's going to get it done. The jigs that have been most effective have still been the smaller profile jigs. Now, I talked to Kevin Kwan about this. I said, what jig is working? He said, anything is working. They're all working. The Eddie bombs are working. West Coast jiggers are working. Daiwa SK lures. Kevin said it doesn't make much of a difference. Now, he is, again, talking about smaller profile jigs. Sometimes that 220 gram, 250 gram lure works really well. I'm not telling you to leave your 400 gram jigs at home. You never know if you're going to get some wind or current. Don't see that in the forecast, by the way. But if you do, you're going to want to have something heavier, or if the fish are hanging out deeper. But this time of the year with this water warming up, those fish are up in the water column like 200 feet, 180 feet, hanging out there. And that's where you're finding some of your best bites. So a little bit more difficult, no question about that. Gino Machino was out on the Highliner, and they ended up with 17 on the bluefin tuna. Max ran the boat. Max, great to see you doing such a fine job. Gino said fishing was tough. It was really, really difficult. Fish were finicky, but he went on and on and on to rave about the crew on the Highliner, and I report that to you because he's giving me his honest opinion, and man, I like sending you to boats where the customer service is great. And he said Max and the crew and the guy in the galley, everybody couldn't have been any better, worked as hard as they did to really make things happen. Tribute, day and a half trip, 23 bluefin tuna. Legend, 15, day and a half trip with 31 on the bluefin tuna. So you can hear those scores. And that daytime fish, man, it is very finicky. You are going to be dropping down when you're fishing the daytime stuff. And this will go for the full day guys also. But many of the other guys are, bouncing between the Coronado Islands and that offshore tuna. Some of the guys are fishing Clemente and fishing that offshore tuna. There's several different zones, but it's very finicky right now. It's hard to get a bite. You got to choose a good hot bait. You've got to drop down to 25-pound fluorocarbon. Some guys are even going down to the 20-pound fluorocarbon. We love the GT4 Fluoro from PromarAhi.com. Put in FA at checkout. You'll get 10% off. You get more line for a lesser price with that to start with. Knock 10% off, and you're in the driver's seat. So that is working well. And then hook size also down to a number 4 size hook. That's going to make all the difference in the world to you. Grande on a full day trip yesterday, no bluefin. He had 1 bonita. The San Diego had 5 bluefin tuna. So as you can hear, it is way more difficult right now. Hopefully it's going to get back on the bite again really, really soon. And I'll leave that to you on the jigs. Kevin Kwan is a guy, when he says something, you can take it to the bank. So if he's telling me they're biting anything, I'm going to go with that, okay? So we talk about color being irrelevant. We're talking about a lot of stuff being irrelevant. And then some guys will argue, no, you've got to have this jig. And then somebody takes a torpedo sinker with hooks on it, drops it down, and catches a bluefin tuna, an Eddie bomb, in other words. So I'll leave that decision to all of you. All right, let's talk about the El Patron, because the El Patron runs out of Long Beach sport fishing, and they are making daily trips to Catalina Island, which we will talk about how that bite is going here in just a moment. Really nice fishing for them. Really comfortable boat. When they go offshore, they go with only 11 anglers. Talk about ultra limited load, as I like to say. Get on the El Patron by going to www.longbeachsportfishing All right, let's talk about islands over there at San Clemente Island. Hopefully, the Amigos on some fish. We're checking with them as we are doing this report. Actually, after I do it, so I'll put it in text if I hear from them. The Thunderbird yesterday, just a short window, short window when those yellows bite. Sometime between 4 and 7 a.m. is most of the time when you get those good bites. Sometimes it's a little bit later on in the day. But man, you better be ready to hang a fish because sometimes it's a one-time flash. Everybody gets bit on the boat. Many guys get bit on the boat, and then that is all she wrote. Nice hit, 26 yellowtail on board the Thunderbird. The Fury out of Dana Wharf didn't get that flash. They ended up with one yellow and one white sea bass. And I should mention all those guys are picking away at the calico bass and catching rockfish and also, occasional barracuda, occasional white sea bass as you saw there on board the Fury. So there's some pretty good fishing going on. There's some bluefin wandering around there. So going to and fro the island, or if you're on a day and a half trip, you'll probably be fishing that at night or going to and fro. You might encounter some breezing BFT as you are doing just that. Catalina Island, we continue to see really good calico bass fishing. The El Patron had excellent bass fishing yesterday, fishing there at Catalina Island. There's a little bit of barracuda, bonita, occasional yellowtail over there. The Gale Force had a yellowtail and a white sea bass yesterday. Whoa, that's a nice one. Where's this guy at, by the way? Put it down there in comments. That's at least one fish I saw, and that's a nice one. I like that. So the Pursuit had a couple halibut out of 22nd Street Landing and 2 yellowtail fishing at Catalina Island. There's a little bit of barracuda and rockfish, as I mentioned, bonita, and every once in a while you get lucky, catch a halibut, a sea bass, or something like that. So we'll keep our eyes on that. A few yellows zooming around there, mostly calico bass. Light line is how you're going to get a bite fishing fluoro. I like 15-pound. It really works well. You hook a yellow on that, you may have your hands full, but you're going to catch a lot of calicos dropping down to that. Now, a lot of guys will tell you you don't need to go to any less than 20. I get that. And sometimes when they're full speed, you can fish way heavier than that. So cat, pretty good. Coronado Islands, I skipped over down there. Stone's throw from San Diego. Good yellowtail action on most days. Not wide open, and some days are very poor. Pretty good calico bass fishing, some barracuda and bonito running around there. If you want to fish rockfish, you can get the job done. All right, up in the Channel Islands, plenty of rockfish if you want to do that. Their weather is up for the offshore area, so catching sea bass out there, at some of the outer islands is going to be difficult here today. We'll check in and see how that goes, and of course we'll have more on the morning briefing about all that. We had a spectacular day yesterday. Principally, no, I won't say principally. There was a lot of great things. One was all the wonderful people that showed up. We ended up with 28 people on a trip we threw together at the very last minute on the 4th of July. And we had a spectacular day on the water. So nice to spend time with you, and I had a ball. So enjoyed seeing Antonio catch his very first fish, and it happens to be a giant halibut. Antonio, way to go, my friend. And I was there to capture that, and I love seeing the smiles and the thrill on that young man's face. So we ended up picking some calico bass. My friend Travis Bright ended up with a fly line halibut. Doesn't happen all the time. I've caught one that way, but I've been fishing for 55 years, so I'm telling you, fly line halibut. Travis, way to go. There was a little bit of calico bass biting, and then we made a move. And man, I'll tell you, we started seeing barracuda jumping out of the water. We started seeing bait getting chased around, and pretty soon guys chucking the iron. We're hanging gar, and we ended up with, I want to say, close to 70 barracuda, and we left that bite. We took a little pull on the boat after we had about 70 barracuda. Said, do you want to finish up with rockfish or stay here on the barracuda? They wanted to go rock fishing, so we had a democratic type of scenario yesterday to celebrate the 4th of July, and we left wide open barracuda. Really great. Flat, calm seas, gorgeous. It seemed to me like the lighter surface irons were working best of all, like a Tatty 45, something like that. Salas 7X was working really well. Nice, light jig was working. A few shorts, mostly legals, and some nice big fat ones in there. It was so fun. So much fun seeing that gar jumping out of the water, biting the iron. There's nothing like it, in my opinion. I love barracuda fishing, and we had a great time on the Island Spirit. Don't forget The Island Spirit is going tomorrow. It should be a great one. You're going to want to jump on board the Island Spirit. And then on Sunday, it's kids fish free. If you have anywhere near the kind of fishing we had, you're going to have an absolute ball. Bring that lighter surface iron. If you are going, you can get a bite on the bait. You'll get chewed off a lot of the times with fishing a bait. It was pretty instant bite on that also. 805-676-3474 or go to venturasportfishing.com and book on the Island Spirit for Saturday and Sunday and have a ball. And of course, Monday through Friday of next week, they are taking reservation. Would love to take you out there and show you a great time. Really fun stuff. All right, let us now talk about the coastal bites. And we're talking down there in San Diego around the La Jolla Kelp where the calico bass bite has been really, really excellent. We've seen outstanding fishing going on around that kelp line with an occasional halibut, occasional yellowtail, and an occasional white sea bass. New Seaforth with that good bass fishing, but 2 white sea bass to go along with it. So not bad at all. Up around Dana Point, they're catching quite a bit of calico bass up there. Now we had that flash here on board the Victory, and we were hoping, our fingers were crossed, that here it goes, man. The sand bass and Barracuda are ready to bite. I don't know if that is indeed the case or not. We did get some signal on it. Monte Carlo yesterday afternoon had plenty of sculpin, but they also had 40 nice sand bass. The Victory was out after limiting out on the sand bass the previous day and catching 40 Barracuda with 30 guys. Had 81 sand bass and 41 Barracuda. That is as good a signal as we've seen here locally in the LA Orange County area. So hopefully that's going to continue to impress. We move you up into the Santa Monica Bay. Few bass, mostly rockfish up there. They've had some live squid. That should turn their bass bite around in Redondo, but it is temporary. It lasts only so long. So we'll see how that continues to go. And the Channel Islands, pretty much covered that with you. There's some bass and that kind of stuff. The outer island scene, as I said, is going to be difficult today. Yesterday, the gray light had 2 halibut and a white sea bass. They're seeing a lot of sea bass up there for the overnight outside guys. In fact, Daniel Hodowy ran the Endeavor the other night. I forget what he had, 2 white sea bass, 9 halibut, something like that. Good signal on the sea bass. Saw a lot of fish. Winds up out there today, so we'll see how that goes. In the surf, you can see for yourself, man. I saw this guy catch 1 nice fish here while I've been blah, blah, blind. We've seen good yellowfin croaker fishing down around Dog Beach. It's been pretty good there. It's been excellent right here with some excellent fishing going on. We have a Grunion run tonight if you'd like to take the kids and show them one of these spectacles of nature that will blow your mind. I highly recommend you do that. It will be really a lot of fun. On this beach tonight, I think it starts at 9:30. I wouldn't be caught dead here looking for a Grunion until 10:30. That first hour is always just painfully slow. Watch, they'll show up early tonight, but I like to show up an hour after the prediction. And, beaches in SoCal everywhere. Should see some Grunion here tonight. Down there around the Topaz Rock Jetty's a good place to watch, and also some other areas. So we'll see what effect that has. Of course, all that bait coming up on the beach is a magnet to other predators. You'll see a lot of sharks and all kinds of stuff starting to move in here, including some halibut. A lot of times what will happen, not trying to jinx our surf fishing event tomorrow, sometimes fish get lockjaw because they are just full. They've been gorging on that Grunion all night long. So we'll see how that plays out. But for right now, there's some nice yellowfin croaker here. A little chrome crocodile, as I mentioned, really, really good. You can dig up sand crabs in the beach. That's also very, very good. There's sandworms available here. And 10% off down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach today and tomorrow on everything in the store. Get in there and save some money and buy some tackle. And remember, they're open, I think at 6 a.m. I'll leave you check on that. 6 a.m. for tomorrow. We're not going to be here until 10 a.m., but you're welcome to come early. And when I walk down here at 10, show me all the fish that you caught. And remember, tomorrow you do not need a fishing license in Southern California. Wherever, on a boat, here in the surf, you don't need a fishing license. It's a free fishing day. And so if you want to bring a newbie along and let them catch their first fish here in the surf, we can do that tomorrow. Remember, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you want to donate some cash to our Mexico efforts, we're going to have breakfast burritos complimentary. You don't have The funds, eat a breakfast burrito, come down here and have some fun and enjoy yourselves because you deserve it. Should be a lot of fun. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? It should be a fun day tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We'll be watching it all for you very, very closely. Once again, thank you to all of you who showed up on the Island Spirit yesterday. We had a spectacular time. I hope you all had a great 4th of July. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friends. See you tomorrow right here